If you're a fan of the Las Vegas Raiders, there's plenty to be excited about this season. Quarterback Geno Smith is crafting a new chapter in his career after reuniting with head coach Pete Carroll, and wide receiver Dante Thornton is turning heads as a potential superstar. Despite scouts doubting his route running, he still got picked in the fourth round. But one story that truly stands out involves right guard Laki Tasi, whose journey to the NFL is far from ordinary. He came through the International Player Pathway Program, which began in 2017, and only 6 players from that program have ever held active roster spots. The Raiders might have initially planned to keep him on the practice squad, but his talent could make him the seventh success story, and it's easy to see why. Athleticism is everything for offensive linemen trying to match the speed of modern NFL defenses. And Laki Tasi is the kind of freak athlete teams dream of. At 6'6" and 348 pounds, he moves faster than most players his size. There isn't an official 40-yard dash time yet, but anyone who watches him play rugby can immediately see his incredible speed and agility. This combination of size and athleticism could make him a game changer for the Raiders. Before we dive into the latest updates on Laki Tasi and the rest of the Raiders, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any breaking news. Now, let's take a closer look at why Laki Tasi could soon be a key piece of this Raiders roster and what it means for the team's future. Laki Tasi's background in rugby gives him a rare edge because his sport demands every player on the field to move with speed and agility, traits that translate surprisingly well to the NFL. Of course, being a freak athlete doesn't automatically make someone a football star, especially if they didn't play the game as a child. But there's precedent for players like him. Take Jordan Mailata, for example. Born in Samoa and raised in Australia, he also played rugby before switching to football. Standing 6'8" and 346 pounds, Mailata ran a 5.12-second 40-yard dash, a remarkable feat for someone his size. Despite having zero football experience, he was drafted in the 7th round by the Philadelphia Eagles, made their 53-man roster immediately, and eventually earned All-Pro honors in 2024. If Mailata could make that leap, it's easy to see why teams will be excited about Laki Tasi. The Raiders likely won't be able to keep him hidden on the practice squad. He's already shown glimpses of his dominance, particularly in the preseason opener, where his run blocking looked almost cartoonishly powerful, as if he was stacking pancakes instead of taking on defenders. True, those defenders might not make an NFL roster, but every great player has to start somewhere. Laki Tasi's journey is unlike anything most NFL players experience. He never played football in youth leagues, high school, or college. His first real football game was the Raiders' preseason opener. Yet, in that very first appearance, he showcased a level of physical dominance that immediately caught eyes. Players who can make that kind of impact on debut demand attention, and the Raiders are no exception. Thanks to his rugby background, Laki Tasi already grasps the low man wins concept. His knees bend effortlessly, his footwork is quick, and his long arms give him an edge in pass protection. Physically, he's nearly ready for the NFL, but the biggest challenge remains mastering the playbook. When asked about it during a recent presser, Laki Tasi didn't sugarcoat the difficulty. He admitted that switching from rugby to offense has been overwhelming. The numbers, the terminology, and all the assignments across the field are a lot to absorb. Still, the Raiders are committed to developing him on the 53-man roster, confident that his athletic tools and dedication will translate into real NFL production. At first, Laki Tasi admits the transition was tough. He struggled to keep up with the playbook and all the assignments. But he quickly realized that asking for help made all the difference. By speaking up to the coaches and saying, "I need guidance on the plays," he started making real progress. When reflecting on his current football knowledge, Laki Tasi rated himself around 7 to 7.5 out of 10, a huge jump from the 2 he felt he had when he first arrived. Initially, he thought he had a solid grasp of defense, but when the Raiders asked him to switch to offense, everything changed. Learning a new side of the game challenged him, but he embraced it fully. His rugby background has been a major asset. It's not just about physical ability, it's about mindset. Playing rugby taught him how to stay aggressive, read the field, and handle the intensity from veteran players. That same drive and awareness are now helping him navigate the NFL, making him a promising piece for the Raiders' offensive line. For Laki Tasi, the NFL is all about staying ready and thinking one step ahead. Mistakes happen, but the key is focusing on the next play and knowing exactly what your job is in that moment. That mindset, developed from years on the rugby field, is now guiding him through the fast-paced world of professional football. Reflecting on his first NFL action, Lockitasi is honest about the work ahead. He knows he still needs to refine his footwork, hand placement, and overall technique. But even in just a few months, he's made significant strides. Media coverage has highlighted his rapid progress, noting that a player with only months of football experience is already stepping onto the field and contributing with his teammates. That's no small achievement. Transitioning from rugby, where pads aren't used, to the high-impact game of football with full pads has been another challenge, but one he's embracing. Laki Tasi's ability to adapt, learn quickly, and stay physically dominant shows why the Raiders coaching staff is so invested in his development. He's not just a rookie. He's a potential game changer in the making. Laki Tasi admits that putting on pads for the first time was a real shock. It was tough, he says. Going onto the field with 10-pound shoulder pads and a helmet on top was far from easy. Every movement felt heavier, and every play demanded more effort than he was used to in rugby. But over the course of training camp in Odas, he gradually adapted. What initially felt overwhelming became manageable as he learned to move efficiently in full gear. Beyond rugby and now football, Laki Tasi's athleticism comes from a unique blend of skills. His balance, agility, and coordination make him stand out on the field, and coaches are excited to see how he continues to develop. His multi-sport background has clearly contributed to the rare combination of size, speed, and technique that could make him a crucial piece for the Raiders' offensive line. Laki Tasi isn't just a rugby prodigy, he's dabbled in other sports too. In high school, he played basketball. He admits he wasn't the most skilled, but his athleticism made him a force on the court. Opponents would literally trip over him as he dominated with sheer movement and energy. It's clear that even outside of rugby, his body control and agility have always been exceptional. Another major influence on his journey is Jordan Mailata, the player whose footsteps Laki Tasi is following. He's probably the biggest inspiration for me, Laki Tasi says. Watching Mailata thrive in the International Player Pathway program and eventually win a Super Bowl proves what international players can achieve in the NFL. Mailata's advice resonates with him: work hard, prove doubters wrong, and seize every opportunity. That mindset is exactly what drives Laki Tasi to succeed. His talent on the field is already impossible to ignore. In the preseason opener, his pancake block on a nose tackle was jaw-dropping. Unlike most defensive linemen who get pushed back a few yards, this player went down instantly under Laki Tasi's power. The sheer force he generates off the line is incredible, and that's just the beginning. As he continues to study the playbook and refine his technique, Raiders fans are witnessing the rise of a future star.